You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into the 3-Point Conversion on this wonderful Saturday, February 22nd, the day before the start of the NFL Combine. The three of us, myself, Blue, and Jeremy, are here to review some players that we think you need to keep your eye on, potentially, for your team or your fantasy team. I mean, whatever. These are just players that we picked out that we think are actually going to be worth their pick. Now, Blue, if you want to get started with one of your guys.
Sure, definitely can. My guy, actually, a couple guys I thought about were from hopefully the Atlanta Falcons may be interested in or may even pick. One of them was AJ Espinosa. He's a defensive end out of Iowa. I've seen this cat, very strong, very fast. He's out of the Big Ten, of course, out of Iowa, and they have a great fan base out of there. He's dominated the defense, got like 11 sacks last year. So I'm thinking they may use him later on, but they got 5 picks in the first round. So I'm thinking they may use him later on, maybe like the 47th pick or something like that. But yeah, I'm hoping they'll definitely get him.
Wait a second. Did you just say Atlanta had 5 picks in the first round?
Yes, I'm thinking they count the first and the second round. I'm thinking so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I had no idea. That's a lot of picks up high. Wow.
Yeah.
Miami's got a ton too.
Yeah, and I think there's more definitely towards the first.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you think they would go like pretty high with him? Like
No, I'm thinking they'll use him with that second pick of theirs. I think we got an eye on someone else higher, but I think I'll discuss him a little bit later.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I mean, I definitely think that that would be a good place for Atlanta to strike for their defense because, man, were they terrible this last season.
Yeah, they got to get that defense back in line. Their offense is going to be there. They always had a high-powered offense, even though it never clicked every time. But running back situation is up in the air right now with Devontae Freeman bound to get a buyout, I guess, or cut. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I really doubt I think they'll use free agency to get someone to fill that, not the draft, because otherwise they would probably have to go up to get a running back that'll be worth getting, or their team like that.
Although there is a lot of talented running backs, they might be able to get one pretty talented, pretty low.
I think it's a deeper pool that people think about. I think it's a deeper pool of running back that people think, but again, I got to do more scouting to figure out who they may pick with the running back if they do pick a running back.
All right, so you believe this guy is a second-round talent?
I think he's a second-round talent and will make a big impact with us. We need somebody to make some sacks because nothing's panning out so far. They're playing flag football out there.
Yeah, if you don't have somebody off the edge that can rush the quarterback, you got people sitting back in coverage, you probably ain't going to be a very good defense.
Exactly. I remember in the past, a safety used to be like one of the highest picked defensive people you knew always wanted that safety or that middle linebacker. But right now it's edge rush that's like dominating defenses. If you're not giving that pressure on that quarterback, that affects your offense. As a matter of fact, as much as because that's keeping the other team out there for so long and you don't have time to come back or a chance to come back.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, like whenever you want to
too much. Go ahead, Andrew.
Sorry, man. Well, I was going to say, to your point, I mean, like when you're looking at the league, you're looking at the game, you guys like Khalil Mack. I mean, he may not get to the quarterback every time, but he's right there in the mix. And if he's not bringing the quarterback down, he's creating the opportunity for somebody else to get in there and wreak havoc. The same with Nick Bosa. I mean, even in his rookie season, look at the impact he made for the 49ers and their championship run. I mean,
can't tell me 31 other teams weren't like hitting themselves like, man, imagine what our team could have done if we had Nick Bosa on the edge.
Exactly.
Agreed. And if you can get a guy that can wreak havoc on the edge like that and take him in the second round and still, have room for other talent a little bit higher in your picks, I mean, that's great.
And
I like what you did there.
That. And once these guys make a big impact. Sometimes they pull double teams, so that's other chances. Even though you may not get the sack, you're creating sacks for other people on your defense.
Right.
By pulling that double team or making them use their fullback or their tight end to help block on me. So as long as I'm pulling all that attention, that's bringing hopefully my other teammates and getting there for that sack or to wreak that havoc.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And Jeremy, you were going to say something?
Offense.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Jeremy? I cut you off a minute ago, man.
Oh, I was just going to say basically what we were talking about. Yeah, you need that edge rusher to make your whole other defense better. I mean, we basically covered everything I was about to go over.
My bad, dog. Well, since I cut you off, why don't you go ahead with your first guy?
Oh, I will. All right, so my first guy that I'd like to talk about, bam.
Chill out, Will Smith.
The first guy I want to talk about is none other than Joe Burrow. So I feel like anybody watching this and us and everybody else basically already knows about Joe Burrow, but if you don't, he was the best college quarterback last year by far. He's 6'4", 216 pounds. He threw up like 60 touchdown passes in a season, which, he set a record, NCAA record. Won the Heisman. He's got accolades out the butt. I mean, dude's the real deal. I mean,
yeah. It's hard to debate against him. I mean,
really if you watch him, you go watch his videos, and you try to find anything bad about him, and there's not really a whole lot there. I mean, he's got excellent decision-making skills. I mean, he makes stuff happen when the pocket breaks down. He's accurate. He throws receivers open, which is something that you always want. He can read coverages.
Yeah, and do you know off the top of your head, because I don't know, what's his classification? Is he a sophomore or junior?
I think he was a senior because he went to Ohio State.
He was a senior, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
And he didn't get to play.
My point, I'm sorry to cut you off. My point I was making is that you can definitely tell how this dude grew over the years, whether it was personal for him or whether it was those coaches at LSU that instilled a lot of these into him. But you can tell definitely that he grew over the years and built on his skills.
Oh yeah,
learned the game a lot more. It probably just all started slowing down for him.
No doubt. He probably picked the best school to go to. Going to LSU and playing in the SEC, especially in the West. Probably at the right time. He got to play a lot of top 10 defenses, and he showcased everything that an NFL team could want to see. I think he checked every single box that they want, And
with him being in college for so long, he's definitely seasoned, and I know pro teams will like that. Sometimes you might rush out a guy out of college too soon, and they don't really learn all they need to learn to be in that pro, and it takes them another year or two in the pros to learn what they could have learned in college. But he should be seasoned, hopefully. Already.
Yeah. And he's projected first overall to Cincinnati, so I don't think he's going to be sitting anywhere. I'm pretty sure the Red Rocket's going to be gone. And you're going to see old Burrow step in,
And for those of you who don't know, the Red Rocket is a reference to Andy Dalton. I don't know where it came from, but we're using it. Sorry.
If it's not already been taken, it's taken.
So are you buying Joe Burrow 1-1 overall?
I think so. I mean, I've looked at a ton of mock drafts, all the big guys, and I mean, consensus number 1 overall. Nobody even has it. Anything else? I like to play around with it, like somebody tried to trade up, and take him, but I've not seen anything.
When you have the number 1 pick, you're almost handcuffed to take the top talent or the best talent there is.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, I guess. On to my guy. I chose Jalen Hurts, the quarterback out of Oklahoma. And his stats and his accomplishments and the fact that he didn't win the Heisman is almost a slight testament to Joe Burrow and how good he is. But, man, this guy is going to be a great, possibly second-round value, I believe, in the draft. Maybe even third, some people are saying, which I think is ridiculous. But His 2018 season was kind of an outlier with Tua Tagovailoa. They were kind of splitting the snaps thing, and honestly, I think he's a better quarterback than Tua. But that's just my personal opinion. His accuracy went up at Oklahoma. I guess he kind of honed his skills as a passer. He had a passer rating of 191.2, 32 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions, which I believe a good handful of those interceptions came in one game against Baylor, which was not his best. But in the second half, he led like a crazy comeback. So, I mean, take it how you will. Maybe he was just setting up the drama. Who knows? This is the crazy part. This guy had 233 rushing attempts for 1,298 yards. That's 1,300 rushing yards for a quarterback. This dude's insane. 20 rushing touchdowns. Can you believe that?
It's crazy.
Yeah. The downside is he likes to hold on to the ball a little bit too long if he can't get out of the pocket. He took 23 sacks on the season, which is a little bit high. You can put some of that on the offensive line, sure, but he's a scrambler. So, it's the nature of the beast. He is, 6'2", 219 pounds. He's stocky. He's a big dude, And I've seen videos online of him at Oklahoma and at Alabama where he was squatting like 500 pounds, man. Dude's insane. Yeah, he's ridiculous. This dude is a beast. He's a monster. And honestly, I would compare him to Russell Wilson if I were to choose an NFL comparison. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he can last many years in the league. He's really, really tough, and he's one of those dudes who will put his team first. And, man, that's just I think he's going to be a phenomenal franchise quarterback for some lucky team that takes him a little bit late. Honestly, in my opinion.
I know. All last season, beginning of last season to the mid of last season, I definitely thought he was the Heisman front runner, hands down. He was dominating teams. I mean, not even just winning, but dominating teams.
Yeah, he's been crazy.
And that slowed down a little bit later on, but it was hands down to me was him, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I've liked about Hurts his whole career is he plays with that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's always in the moment, but he's never too high. He almost seems like he's too close sometimes, like he's a robot. You ever notice that? Every time he's talking, it's like, hey, you just won a playoff game, or hey, you just won a SEC championship game. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, that's that Nick Saban coaching, man. He tells those guys, hey, man, just go out there, say what you got to say, and
he did it in Oklahoma too, though. I think it benefits him.
Fellas.
He's got that chip on his shoulder, though.
Big 12, not SEC.
What about it?
Yeah.
That's where he went to school at.
3 seasons in the SEC.
Right.
Okay.
Just so y'all know.
I'm saying though, I mean, don't get me wrong. This kid honed his skills as a quarterback at Oklahoma, and I believe that's going to pay him dividends in the league. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
That is a quarterback school.
I'm comparing him to more of a Kyler Murray right now because he seems to hold and more. I'm saying that to him more than a Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is a huge kid. I know he's huge. Kyler Murray's smaller and does like to probably react to running more, and hopefully he can turn into a Russell Wilson. Through the years, but right now I'm still his rookie year. I can see him being like a Kyler Murray.
I thought about that comparison, but the only difference is like you can grab a hold of Jalen Hurts, but man, you just can't bring him down right off the bat. That kid is just he's a moving fortress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm saying he goes probably late second round. I honestly, man, I want to hope and pray that maybe a team like Tampa Bay picks him up because Jameis, but But honestly, I wouldn't hate seeing him go to possibly Carolina. I think he'd be great there. But
let me ask this question. With all those stats you just mentioned and accolades that you just mentioned, why do you think he's going down so low? Because I know easily with my looking through different information, I've seen 3 to 4 quarterbacks easily above him. I haven't even heard him mention even much.
Man, I cannot even tell you this kid's stats and his perseverance through everything that he's been through at both schools. I mean, and the fact that he's just such a huge team guy, it blows my mind that he's going this low. Like, he's just a great kid. He's a great quarterback, and any team really would be lucky to have him. I mean, I'm saying this as a Georgia fan. You know, we competed against Alabama, 3 years, and I'm still sitting here rooting for this kid because I like him that much,
He went to Oklahoma.
I think
But
if
man.
Hurts had played, I think if he came out next year, I know he wouldn't have been able to. But I'm just saying any other class where there weren't so many other good quarterbacks, because people right now love Justin Herbert, they love Tua, and they love Burrow. Love them.
Okay, but did you see this? Let's say this. Did you see somewhat of the same thing with Lamar Jackson last year or 2 years ago?
Oh, it was way worse with Jackson.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
It was way worse. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a ton of people talking about Jackson not even being a quarterback.
Did
I don't
they pick him?
think
They
he's
picked him up in the last
Last pick of the first
round or
round.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even. Of course, we're saying we don't even think Jalen Hurts will be in the first round.
No, but seriously, look at his potential. Look at what he could be. Look at what I believe.
I
he
think
could
so.
be.
I think so.
I mean, yeah, and I think that he's definitely just way undervalued right now for what looks like a lot of pocket passers, and that's not his profile. That's not his thing. Maybe people think he's the more dangerous pick. Maybe he could be injury prone because he likes to run. Man, I don't know, but I'll take this guy over every other quarterback pretty much except probably Burrow.
I can understand that. And he's going to two great schools, in Alabama and Oklahoma, two great
Yeah.
schools. So I mean, I can you know he's well polished. If that may say it like that,
Yes.
just like Burrow is.
Yeah, and he had a lot of success at both schools. So
Oklahoma.
can't knock him. You don't see that
Exactly.
many times any other quarterback playing at two high level schools and playing very well. So
Yeah.
he's done everything the right way. When he got taken out of that national championship game for Tua, and then Tua just kind of took over. I mean, he played everything the right way.
Yeah.
You can't knock that kid. I think he won a lot of people over.
He's got good character.
Situation. Yeah.
Good character. All right.
Oklahoma.
Moving on. Moving on, Blue.
Uber soon.
What do you got for us, Blue? Who you got?
This is the guy I hope my Atlanta Falcons pick with the number 1 pick. I think it's going to be number 16, if I'm correct. Kavion Chasen. He's from LSU, so the SEC, of course. 6'4", 249, middle linebacker. Well, he's not actually a linebacker. A phenom, fast, strong, everything that he could be a face of a defense. So I think he'll be a great start. Great pick for to revamp that defense. So I'm hoping they'll go that way, and he can be again one of the head pieces for a new revamped Atlanta Falcons defense. And he dominated in the bowl game. I think he played against Oklahoma, of course. 6 tackles, 2 sacks in that game. So he showed it even on the biggest stage. Is what I'm getting at. What he
Hey,
can
man,
do.
I love it. I love
What he
it.
can do.
And I do hope the Falcons stack that defense, man. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but that's what's keeping them right now, honestly, I believe, from being an elite team.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if they get that defense shored up and they get their offense clicking,
Yeah.
they'll be dangerous.
Like I said, it's definitely going to give their offense more opportunities and more chances and shorter fields and things like that. So this is definitely a great first step for them.
Yeah.
And he's a really talented player.
Yeah,
Joe
I honestly didn't hear him. I was blinded by the LSU offense so much
Mm-hmm.
that at first that defense did not stand out to me because I just know how,
Fair.
of course, Burrow, the wide receivers, even the tight ends that they have are dominating, but I never realized how dominating their defense was also.
No doubt.
And again, he was one of the head people, if not the head person, that was leading that charge of the LSU defense.
And everybody wanted to talk about their secondary the entire season whenever LSU's defense got brought up. But, man, that whole LSU defense as an entire unit, as a whole unit, really showed up in the playoffs and even in the SEC championship game. I mean, they played phenomenally.
Well, they've got a ton of good players, or they did, because now they're all going to be, most of them, first-round draft picks. I mean, they had Delpit, two guys you talked about. What's his name? Kason? That's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, almost every position they had starting defense, I think they got like 5 or 6 that are going out, right? 5 or 6?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look, but it sounds right.
Safety, corner, linebacker, edge rusher.
And I guess to go ahead and mention them, my corner, their cornerback is one of my other picks that I was planning on getting. Chris Polson. He's a beast. Fast again, great hands. The damn ball hawk. So hopefully he can do well for them too. But I think he'll be definitely their last pick, or not last pick, one of the latter of the 3 picks for them. So again, hopefully they can get him too, not just because he's from LSU, but it'll be great also to have, if they did give that linebacker plus that cornerback, and that could definitely cement with their bond already, cement that defense that they have.
Yeah, he's real athletic too. Yeah, I think he'd be able to step in and probably be able to play right away. I mean, and they always say corner is one of the easiest things to translate from college to pro, because it's all technique driven. If you're athletic enough to run with them, and you got a little technique, some good eye work, you can watch quarterback. You're probably
that would be great for them, because for the Falcons, they Keanu Nielsen got hurt a couple times, so they've had to have cornerbacks switch to safeties and back and forth. So this may help to solidify their secondary. Hopefully.
All right, man.
A lot of Falcons fans would probably like to see a lot of that happen.
Yeah, no doubt.
And work on that defense.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, you want to feed us another dude?
Yeah, I'll feed you the dude. And we were talking a little bit about Bama there. Wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Jerry Jeudy, he's 6'1", 192. Dude is a beast. He's a human highlight reel. People are comping him to like A.J. Green and Julio Jones, which, okay. He's fast. He's a guy that they can move around. He's not just an X, Y, or Z receiver. He can move. He can take those end arounds, which they're, NFL's bringing a lot of that stuff in. You see him because he's explosive. He can get those contested balls, and he definitely uses his frame to get that separation off of these corners and catches at the high point with his hands, which, what else would you want from a receiver? And he may not be the fastest receiver. He's not. He's not even the fastest receiver that's coming out from Alabama. But he's probably the most all-around complete receiver. And that's why he's projected to go very high. I've got him projected to go to the Jets at 11. But I've seen him anywhere from 8 to the Cardinals and even as high as 4 to the Giants. I don't think he can go to the Giants, but I've seen that.
He'll be eventually a great replacement for Fitzgerald if that did happen, too, for the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. And, the Cardinals could definitely use that weapon.
Yeah,
they've got weapons, but Judy's a difference maker. I think he could step right in. Yeah, he may not know the entire playbook right away, obviously, but I bet he could come in and run a simple route tree and just get a little separation. You put him one-on-one with like a linebacker or something when you got like a 3 wide out set. That's nasty. And if you saw it, him against some of the top defenses, just a simple little slant route, 3-step drop, boom, 1-step drop, boom, he's got it. And you think, okay, he's down 5 yards. And he's weaving his way between defenders, and he's gone, or it's 20-plus yards, and that's something everybody wants.
To
give us some kind of precedent in the NFL, we have Calvin Ridley, of course, by Falcons.
Yep.
Who
also
came from the same school, and he's doing. I didn't know he was going to be that phenomenal when he got to the team, but he's definitely a great pickup that I'm glad my Falcons got. But hopefully this young man can be that same kind of way, a difference maker on the other side. So that'll be great. Whichever team will pick him up, if he turns out that kind of just have that same kind of talent.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you literally answered the question I was about to ask. I was going to say, let me play devil's advocate for a minute. His quarterback was Tua Tagovailoa in college, and I mean, a lot of people are, hailing him as the phenom, this and that. He's amazing, he's great, he's this and that. Which I'm not trying to take anything away from Tua, but when people say things like that, like, oh look, Tua, look who was throwing him the ball. I mean, your answer was perfect. You're right. He'll take a 5-yard slant route and turn it into a 75-yard touchdown. Oh, yeah. You're right.
He can make a mediocre quarterback look really good.
Yeah,
that's true. And that's coming from me, by the way. And I'm a Tennessee Vol fan, so speaking highly on Bama people doesn't come, so easily to me. But respect where it's due.
You feel nauseous a little bit right here?
A little bit, a little bit. But that's okay. He's a good player.
Man, I think I can roll right off of what you were saying here with my next guy, who was CeeDee Lamb, who I think is a very similar player to Judy. Yeah, yep. Sorry, man. They got so many good. They got so many good receivers. I'm like flipping through, like who is it? Yeah, Judy. Judy.
There's a ton.
He's 6'2", 189 pounds. He had 62 receptions for 1,327 yards, a 21.4 average yards per reception, 14 touchdowns. I mean, dude's hard to bring down when he actually gets the ball in his hands, and that's quite often. He's really good at contested catches, man. He'll go up for the ball, and he comes down with it a lot. Yeah. He's really, really good at altering his route on the fly. If the play breaks down or something like that, he will make it so that you can complete a pass to him. He makes you look like a better quarterback. Nothing against Jalen Hurts, who I was just talking about, because he's a great quarterback. But,
I mean, it's always good to have a second quarterback on the field. That mean, you may say like that. Someone with a high IQ to kind of see what's breaking down and to run into the open spot for that quarterback if he's scrambling himself, so he can find you. So you making him sound like a very high IQ athlete.
He is that, and that's what really separates him from a lot of these other receivers. Because, like Jeremy was saying, he's not necessarily the fastest receiver on the field. I mean, he can get separation because he's smart. He can alter routes because he is smart. His receiver IQ is a lot of the reason why he is as good as he is. And I think he will be a valuable fantasy asset for your fantasy team his first season, because we've seen a lot out of rookie out of rookie wide receivers in their first season these past couple of years. I mean, look, like you were just talking about with the Falcons, Calvin Ridley. And then last year, I mean, man, we had so many rookie – I can't even say it. I'm thinking Chewbacca over here. We had so many rookie receivers just come out of the woodwork, like Terry McLaurin and dude from Deebo Samuel from the 49ers. And, I mean, for the Ravens, I mean, he was injured a lot of the season, but Hollywood Brown, who also came from Oklahoma, I mean – they were everywhere this past season.
Yeah.
They were really good. And so I think that rookie wide receivers are actually really starting to make an impact on the league. And this is Wookie. But I mean, he's the guy I chose. I think he's gonna. I know you said that you thought your guy was gonna go to the Cardinals, but I've got the Cardinals looking at CeeDee Lamb as well, and maybe even I was thinking the Raiders. I think they need that dude. I mean, I know they need a lot. Let's be honest. But
I think either one of them will do great in Arizona, and I'm saying that because mainly because of Fitzgerald, who seems to be a wide receiver, of course, who's withstood the league and for so long, but is still killing it, and it's not obviously not because of his speed. He has a very high IQ on the field, and never heard him get in any kind of trouble. So this would be a great veteran for them two wide receivers to follow behind. So, if the wide receiver, if we did get a wide receiver, I think they would get taught very well.
Yes,
for sure.
And the Cardinals GM, as one last thing, drew a comparison with CeeDee Lamb to DeAndre Hopkins, which, man, I like that.
That's high praise.
Yes.
If you're going to get compared to any player at that position, there's a handful, and that one right there is top of the list.
Coming from a GM, I think that's pretty high praise.
Pretty high praise. It also kind of maybe shows you his hand a little bit and how much he really likes him.
Maybe, but I think the Cardinals have a pretty high pick, so it may not hurt him at all.
I don't know. I ain't heard it all. And speaking to your point, you said earlier, these rookie wide receivers that are making such an impact at fantasy and just whatever normal football play. It's really a testament to how the college teams are preparing these guys, and it's translating so well into the NFL to where they can step out. And I mean, talent's talent, speed, and if they can catch, and it's just even, that's just going to translate real well. And if they can block too, which I think a lot of these guys are actually, nobody really wants to talk about a wide receiver blocking, but the best wide receivers can obviously do all the things that you know about, making the contested catches, yards after contact, whatever. But blocking is a very valuable asset to have. So these really bigger receivers that don't shy away from the contact, they're the ones that I guarantee you those GMs, they love it. And Hopkins doesn't get praised for blocking. You go watch. He's good.
He's very, very good, definitely. Also, besides the athletes getting a lot of tutelage in college, the NFL rules have definitely helped the offense and made it easier for the wide receivers, made it easier for the quarterbacks, which makes it easier for the wide receivers.
For sure.
So that's one of the reasons why I think that running backs have kind of tailed off, and then wide receivers have kind of come to the forefront more often now, in the past 5 or so years.
So passing league, you hear that a lot. Passing league,
exactly. So this is definitely going to help them out and help them fit straight into the whatever team they go to, that situation.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right. Well, Jay, do you have one more guy?
And I do. I have one more guy I wanted to talk about, and that is a running back from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins. So this guy, I mean, you watch the tape on this guy, and he is an electric runner. He's not a huge running back. He's 5'10", but he's 214 pounds. It reminds me a lot of Ezekiel Elliott, same school or whatever, but he looks just like a mini Ezekiel Elliott to me when you see the highlight film of him running around. And he can do all those things and pass protection, which, like I was talking about earlier with the receivers, that's it. If you think a running back is extremely talented, and you always ask yourself, like, why aren't they getting any playing time? Why aren't they getting play? It's probably because they can't block. Yeah. And it is very, very important. But, I know he can do that. He's physical, but he can also take one to the house. Dude's just a really good all-around running back. And there's a lot of good running backs in this draft class. And he, to me, I feel like he's slipping, kind of like the Jalen Hurts thing. I don't know if this is a Big 10 thing or Big 12 thing where they're just kind of like falling down for some reason. Yeah. But he might be a guy that his stock may come back up a little bit in this combine. And I'm really excited to see him.
Do you think his – I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good.
Do you think his height interferes or was hindering him? Because he's 5'10", that don't sound very.
Yeah, I don't think so. Normally, when I think about running backs, it's about where most of them are about the average. There's not too many of them, like old King Henry, where he's like 6'3" or some shit, 6'3", 240 pounds, like a giant running through there. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of the old Giants running back they got now.
Saquon.
Yeah, old Saquon Barkley. I think Barkley's one of the best running backs in the game.
Yeah.
And I think he could be up in that echelon. It just really depends on what team he goes to.
Gotcha.
And, I've got him projected right now, second round, pick 39 to the Dolphins.
Okay.
So, also heard Carolina, which I don't like that. So Carolina, I wouldn't see that. But they may want somebody opposite McCaffrey because, they don't want to ride McCaffrey forever.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be a steal for them if they did get him.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they could probably use that pick for something else. But I know that's something to look into, I guess.
Yeah, you never know what these teams, man.
Exactly.
You kind of see what their needs would be, but knowing where they're going to go, who knows? Because I always think of the Raiders from the past, and you'd be like, okay, they need an offensive tackle in the worst way. And they've got like a stable, like 10 talented receivers, and then they take the fastest receiver just because he's fast.
Yeah. I think I see a lot of teams trying to go to that dual back.
Yep.
I think that's going to help the. I think they look at it as helping the longevity of the running backs.
Sure.
You know, than having two backs and maybe having one who maybe catches better because McCaffrey's a beast all around, whether it's behind the line or to catch or even a block. I've seen this man handle everything. So but to have somebody else behind him who may be able to take it through the hole a little bit more, and so he can take that off of him, or even slip out for a pass. So I can see a lot of teams going towards dual running backs.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I also think a lot of these teams are utilizing these rookie contracts with these running backs, especially because your shelf life for a running back's not that long, as history would tell you. So, you bring in this rookie running back, even if you've got one, and you see what you got with him, and if he's good, or the one that was doing real well for you, it's time to pay him. You might want to let him slide if you got one that you're comfortable with taking a spot. So, or paying him and having two, like you said.
Especially if you can steal him in the second round or later. I mean, that's, unfortunately for him, that's just, of course, less money he's going to make. But for your team, talent-wise, he could be, work. His talent would be way higher than his pay. Let me say it like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
it'd be a slide. It'd be a slide if he was taken second.
yeah.
I think in the combine, though, I think he's one of those players that if he puts in a good showing in the combine, I think you'll see him rise a little bit over these other guys. Like you see other guys that are starting to rise, like Cam Akers. He's another good running back, and I hear him a lot on the rise.
Yeah.
I think you'll see J.K. Dobbins once he gets out there and runs like the shuttle, and he does his bench press or he does his squatting. I think you'll see him rise up pretty good. At least I hope.
I agree with you. I think it would be it'd be wild to see him taken at the end of the second round, honestly, after the combine and everything, and after he really goes and meets with some of these teams, like some of these players will do. I think it'd be absurd to see him go that late, honestly. He's a very explosive back. I've seen him turn nothing into 6 points. He's got good vision. He's explosive. I think he'll go maybe early, mid-second.
And yeah, I think he could go anywhere. He might even be one of these guys that drops lower if he had a bad showing in the combine, which I don't think he will. But if he does go where he's projected right now to Miami, Miami's got like 5 picks in the first 2 rounds, and they got 3 really high picks in the first round. They could be a team sneaky, maybe not for this upcoming season, but in the future if Miami plays it right, which is a stretch. But if they play it right and they get these nice core players around, sneaky to watch out for.
I hear you.
2, they're projected to take him, and then you'd have old Dobbins.
Well, speaking of Miami, I can roll into my third and final guy because he's been projected to Miami quite a bit as well. And that is DeAndre Swift. Go Dogs. Not just being a homer. Not just being a homer. This guy is he's a monster. He's a beast. And mostly because of what he can do mid-stride, man. This guy can change direction on you so fast. He will destroy your secondary like they're not even there. Just get him past that line of scrimmage first, and, buddy, he's gone. At 5'9", 215 pounds, very similar height and weight to Dobbins there. His 2019 season wasn't fantastic. He faced a lot of – he faced it. I've been drinking a little bit much, guys. Forgive me. He faced a lot of stacked boxes there trying to run the ball. And honestly, the play calling at Georgia with James Coley and offensive coordinator booth up there, it was piss poor. I'll tell you that, man. I love my Dogs, but it was awful. He had 196 attempts for 1,218 yards, 7 touchdowns. But his receiving is what really stands out for him and where I think he'll make his money in the league. 2019, he had 24 receptions for 216 yards and a touchdown. But in 2018, when our offense was just a little bit better and could fire off a little more, he had 32 receptions, 297 yards, and 3 touchdowns, which is pretty good. That's what most draft analysts and most teams are really looking at for him. His hands, man. And that's the way, like you guys said earlier, that's the way the league's evolving. That's the way it's turning. They want these pass-catching backs, these Todd Gurley's, these Christian McCaffrey's, these Saquon Barkley's. These are the guys they're after. He has really good open field vision. Like I said, he gets in that secondary. He's going to tear you up. He's going to dead leg you right in the ground and just keep moving. He's got good burst. He's pretty quick off the ball there. And he can also block, which is very important. Like with receivers, running backs, you may be a talented phenom, this and that, but that's what gets you playing time, and that's what gets you on the field. Your ability to be able to turn around and block for your quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
He can run through a defender. He doesn't shy away from contact. And his NFL comparison is, I believe, Dalvin Cook. Very similar to Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. And
I've
his
got him
receiving out of the
going.
backfield.
What's that?
I was just saying his receiving out of the backfield is, I think, what sets him apart and
Exactly.
what puts him in that top echelon of running back prospects coming out of this class.
It is.
Mhm.
It is. And I see him, honestly, Miami's looking at him pretty hard. Ugh.
Yeah.
Man, I'm still not on that Miami train. But I also saw maybe Tampa Bay taking him. They need a back really bad.
They do need it.
But anyway, that's about all I got on my boy DeAndre Swift. You guys got anything to add?
Just again that his blocking and his passing, I think definitely will separate him. Even though he didn't have a great year, he is coming from a prestigious running back school.
Yeah.
So I think they will understand the pedigree in the NFL and help to groom him. So I think he'll do pretty well once he gets to the NFL.
Yeah, I do too. And you alluded to it, Andrew, how he didn't have the best year, but I think that was mainly just because of, like you had said, offensive play calling, and Georgia had a great offensive line, but when everybody knows you're wanting to run the ball and you're having a hard time doing the play action and things, I think it's where he struggled. And I don't think that's anything against Swift. I think that was just one of those things. He struggled. His stats outside of touchdowns were good. And
Right.
you get him out in the NFL, and you get him on a team that can throw a little bit. You got that balance. I think
That
he'll be
just
fine,
opens up-
especially
opens
if
up
you
the
pair
field.
with him. Yeah. So
I
I
agree.
like Swift a lot.
Yeah, so I think we'll see him maybe early, mid first round. He could slip to the late first round. I saw one draft projection having him going to the Ravens to replace Mark Ingram as his eventual successor, which that'd be dirty. But
He would-
yeah,
Would be a good spot for Swift.
it would. But
Mike.
I don't think he'll last that long. I think one of these teams who really needs a back right now is going to pull him, and I don't think that the Ravens will waste a first round pick on somebody that's not an immediate need.
Yeah. If the Ravens are smart, though, they need to be looking at that running back position. Mark Ingram's not young. I think he's like 31, 32.
Yeah.
And there's not many Frank Gores, Adrian Petersons in the league. They're going to be around until they're 97.
Yeah.
So-
And again, with that dual back, that'll help extend his career because I think Ingram is a great personality in that locker room. So that'll be a good, co-running back team right there.
hmm And the Ravens, they seem real tight knit,
Exactly.
especially Ingram and
Lamar Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they don't take another month off before the next playoff game. But
Yeah.
Yee.
But,
well, guys,
um,
this has been the end of our first episode. Unless you guys have something else to add, I mean, you guys got more things to say.
Swift to the Dolphins.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
They can have Dobbins. They can have Dobbins.
And Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma, Queasy.
Hey, whatever, man. Yes, definitely.
And Red Rocket. Don't forget Red Rocket.
Red Rocket.
My last thing, if I may go into a tantrum, I spoke to you guys before personally outside of this podcast, but I'm not big on Tua. I think that hip is going to hinder him in the NFL. I know teams are going to jump on him. Again, I wish something good for the kid. I know I don't want to speak bad of him, but I just think that injury is going to hurt him in the long run. So, but we'll see. I guess we'll see. Again, hopefully it works out best for the kid.
I hate to admit that I feel the same, and like you said, I wish nothing but the best for the kid. But I don't know that I could if I owned a franchise, I don't know that I could invest in a kid that early
Yeah.
with the issues he's had. And I think at Alabama he just tried to do too much. He held onto the ball too long a lot of times, trying to extend plays, give these fast receivers a chance to get upfield so he could just launch it to them. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's something he can learn from. Maybe he can grow, and maybe he will end up being a better NFL quarterback because he doesn't want to get injured like
Yeah.
this anymore. But
And I assume with that injury, he's not going to be in the combine. I would assume.
No,
he got an invite.
He got an invite. He
Yeah.
declined it because he's hurt. They said that he may throw at his pro day.
That was on pro
That's
day.
it. Yeah.
But again, we'll see. I guess that may show a lot. Maybe I don't know. We'll see then. His running or how long that's going to hinder. Because once you heal, of course, your body is anybody that had some kind of injury like that. Your body, you never get a chance to build those muscles in a sense.
Right.
So you still got to build those muscles, almost like having a cast on in a sense. You got to still build that muscle back and
You got that
get your body back balanced in a sense.
Mhm. It's real important too.
Yeah.
You're gonna go out there and get hit by these monsters coming off the edge and up the middle.
Yeah.
Even offensive linemen falling on you. I mean, you've got weak hips.
Yeah.
I want to be dealing with my starting quarterback personally.
Yeah.
I just want to say is my last thing. Looking forward to the combine, all positions. I love watching it. I know they were talking about trying to make it like a bigger spectacle, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I personally like it. And I'm going to call it here first. Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, gets traded to the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
You want to make a bet on that?
He's
Gentleman's
going.
bet?
Nah.
Gentleman's wager? No, come on.
No, he's not going to the Bears, man.
I'm
All
not-
right, no. We're gonna use our new betting format. If you lose the bet, you have to take a shot at the beginning of the show for each bet you lose.
I'm okay with that. I will take that bet.
All right, and I'm gonna say he goes to the Colts.
Ugh. I don't think so.
It doesn't matter where you put Andy Dalton. We're all gonna look at the camera and just go, ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The Colts are getting somebody they're
It might
drafting.
end up being, imagine this. People said that about Tannehill going to the Titans.
That's true.
And it turned out to be a great pickup for them and took over and never let go of the reins. So, I mean, it may be a situation like that where he goes to the Patriots and puts Brady on the bench. I don't know. I'll take a shot.
How about is that your bet? How about Mariota to the Colts?
I like Mariota to the Colts.
No.
I do.
He's done.
He's not
You think
done.
he's done?
Yeah.
He's not. He's
I
certainly
feel like this. He's done being a starter.
Nah, he's still pretty young. I think he'll get a shot somewhere else.
Here you go.
It's-
Here's one Queasy will like. Bridgewater to the Colts.
I think he'll do that. Bridgewater or Rivers to the Colts. But
Ugh, you can put Rivers out to pasture, man. I'm done with that cat.
yeah.
No, actually put Rivers out to sea. See what I did there?
No, I didn't.
Get out of here, cuz. But no, hey, on closing, I'm really excited to be doing this with you guys. I know we've been working on this, preparing for this for a long time, and I'm ready for a podcast that's got longevity and good quality entertainment and good sources. So
3-point
Yeah.
conversion.
3-point conversion. Go for 3.
Go for 3. Go for 3.
Okay.
Make sure to follow the 3-Point Conversion host on Twitter.
Blue at Rastalion1131, Jeremy at Checkerboard J, Andrew at Jedi Quarterback.